Okay, so welcome back. This would be NileValleyCiv 14. It's getting long, right? Okay, but I'm just trying to keep them in little short snippets so that you don't get too bored. You can go, you can drink some water, get a break, and come back. I'm sorry about the 40 something long. There's one that's 40 minutes long. But there was so much that needed to be said. So what I wanted to point out here, now this is Menkare. We looked at them in an earlier slide, and this is his wife. Still not sure how to pronounce her name, but there it is in parens right below there, right here. Yeah, so that's her name. And so this is from the Old Kingdom, about around the fourth dynasty or so. Uh, the establishment of the three what we think of as Great Pyramids was established long before Tutankhamun and long before um, Akhenaten, which are the later dynasties, and long before the Romans and the Greeks. Okay, so so that's important to note when we're looking at this particular relationship. And so this is from the old dynasty. Like I said, by the time you look at Hatshepsut, she's already like she's around the time of the 18th and later dynasties. And by the time you're in that period, you have so much invasion that has happened in along for Nile Valley civilizations that they've been dealing with for a long time, that the concept of the importance of the feminine is starting to erode. Okay. But he was one of the ones that built, the three great pyramids, and we'll talk about that in terms of alignment and how it's aligned with the cosmos and that. Um, this one, Menkare, this was the smallest of the pyramids, okay? So, and his was last to be built, and he's already from the Old Kingdom, and then the other two were from earlier kingdoms. All right, so all of that sort of gets twisted and lost. And again, the emanation of what he is as divine male and her as divine female is basically the same as what's happening here, divine male, divine female. Female being that she presents him because she is the giver of life, right? All men must come through a woman. And so even if he gets with a woman who is his wife, didn't necessarily give physical birth to him, each time they come together, especially in a sexual way, he is expected to be nurtured and somehow tended to by her. She is expected to be protected and also um, energized by him. This is sort of what the masculine feminine process is. Okay. All right, so let's look at Aset. I already talked about Aset as the holder of the throne, the divine source through which the male must come through to power. Okay, so we talked about that several times. And so this is what we're looking at here when we see her being presented with the throne. Notice here that she is kneeling. So there's a sense of humility, bringing someone into power, allowing them to rule properly. However, they're ruling properly through in a balanced way. And so again, this deals with that 99.9 and 0.1% space of who we are, how we exist in the world, and the spiritual and the material. Okay. And so what I have said about Ptah and Asar being very similar in terms of netters. That Ptah, Asar, pater, father, and father can often mean hidden or unseen. And then Aset, matter, which is like the matter that you make, the things that you can touch, right? The material, and the mother. And so she is that which births the seen and the visible. But she also allows the invisible to take place inside of her body for a extended period of time. Okay, so Aset and Heru, a figure compared with an icon of the Madonna. So again, this is the original Divine Mother, Divine Child. This is Aset, this is Heru. And the fact that she is touching her breast, again, this is the source of the child's first source of nutrients. There are some pictures of Mary, and I don't know, I can't remember like which artist did them, but there are pictures of Mary where Mary is literally in the same position as I said here on the left, where she has her breast out, and you can tell that she is suckling the Christ, okay, or just got through suckling the Christ. And so this is, I believe, an Ethiopian piece that was done. Ethiopians were some of the first Christians. And so, interestingly enough, right, we have Aset here with a lotus flower on top of her head, which is what I think sometimes crowns represent, that it's a properly working flower, petal, crown sort of working properly. And then over here, it becomes something that is in visible form, like metal or something like that. Whereas this one looks like it's still trying to be a lotus flower. That's what I see right there. Okay. And then this is like an abstracted form of that lotus flower as a crown. Same here. And then, of course, the halos, which is part of the light, gets transformed again. Now, this particular image is by Da Vinci. I do believe that's by Leonardo da Vinci. And, but look at the position. Now, here she doesn't have her breast out, but look at the position of Christ child. Look at her position in terms of how she's, you know, okay? So, and child sitting on her lap and, you know, the halos, okay? Right. Okay. So this is a statuette. I didn't really talk about this as a piece, but it is a statuette in bronze. Maybe I did, but it's a statuette of Asar, A-S-A-R, the Divine Father. And so what this particular image is about bringing forth life, bringing forth, planting the seed, okay? And planting it well, okay? And so I think a lot of times this gets left out. People don't see the similarities sometimes. And sometimes people will look at these and they still don't see the similarities, and that's fine. But, you know, again, the Ptah, the Pater, the Pope, you know, the hidden, the unseen. And a lot of people cannot get to the Pope, but that's a whole other story. But they often refer to the Pope as Father, okay? So this is Asar in his form as dealing with, obviously, the hidden world. He's mummified, but also symbolic of fertility. Notice the green skin and abundance and all of that. And so in the hidden world, there is abundance. And Asar is associated with that area of abundance that we have the possibility of seeding ourselves into, okay? All right, now, Ptah and Asar have different functions as netters. And so, but they are also sometimes one and the same, okay? And I know the stuff gets complex, but Asar here on the left and Ptah here in this image are both fathers, okay? Um, Ptah deals with allowing form to come through. Asar kind of deals with the like the cause of form. Yes, the cause of form. And then Ptah is the form being able to come through and keeping a stable environment for the form to come through. That's the other thing. Because this particular tool that Ptah is holding is called a dejed. I will spell that for you. D-J-E-D. D like dog, J-E-D. I'm going to pause it right quick and I'll pick it back up.